and to all the assembled Vaishnavas here at the Bhakti Center. And I especially thank His Grace Sri Govinda Dato Prabhu, who came here to America with a singular mission in his mind, which was to expand the army, the Bhakti army. This could be called the Bhakti Army Barracks also. And he wanted to extend trained devotees in the very specific science of Bhakti as it's been passed down through discipline succession, from Panchatattva through the great Acharyas all the way down to Srila Prabhupada and his successors today as it's being carried on. And this is a momentous occasion for me being here, and for Nirkula, my wife, to come to this Bhakti Center where the devotees are living according to the tenets given by the great Acharyas. Tat karma pravartana. There are many activities to perform in a day which makes the day successful. And there are many ways, just as many ways, to while away one's time and frivolously waste a day. In fact, that's easier, because the mind and the senses are accustomed to going their own way and having their own way. But through the process of yoga, we bring the senses under control. The process of bhakti yoga just happens to be a world of juice. Going around Govardhan Hill, every day we walk around, and while we're walking, there are several people that make a living by selling sugarcane juice. And while we're walking around the Govardhan Hill, we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when we walk past these sugarcane juice vendors, they say to us, juice, juice, and we say, juice, juice, showing our beads that we're chanting. But everyone's squeezing something to try to get some juice. And the real juice comes from Krishna. He's the source of all rasa. That's what everyone's looking for. They want that emotion. In cricket, when someone makes a six, is that what you call it? When you make a six, or you hit a six? You hit a six? When you hit a six, no one measures exactly the velocity or the speed or how it went over the fence. They just know it feels good. And the crowd goes wild. Or if it's in the World Cup game against Pakistan, and that last goal goes through the net, no one takes time to measure and see, how fast did the ball go and how did it connect with his foot and what effect did the shoelaces have. They just go crazy and they experience what it feels like to be victorious. That feeling, that's the rasa, that's the juice. That's what everyone's looking for. They want some juice. And there appears to be juice in the material world, but it's compared by Prahlad Maharaj to trying to get juice from the husks of grain that have already been, where the grain's already been taken out. There's no more fruit, there's no more juice, it's just empty, dry. It looks like there should be something inside, but there's not. And this is the attempt to find juice in the material world. But here at Bhakti Center, you've got the real process for getting juice. And those who have juice can give juice. You can't be a juice vendor if you don't have real juice. So we're becoming juice vendors. And in the Mangalartik time, in the Brahma Muhurta hour, 1 hour and 42 minutes before the sun rises, there's juice to be had. Not many people know it, but it's floating freely in the atmosphere. It comes down like rain comes for free. We don't ask for it, but it comes down out of the sky. We're able to collect it up. It comes down in rivers and waters the crops for free, apparently. And similarly, at that time of the day, 1 hour and 42 minutes before the sun actually makes its appearance, there's juice coming through the environment. And you just have to sit there and catch it. That's intelligence, to know when to catch things, or how to get the juice. The Acharyas, they're not telling something that is fruitless or juiceless. They know where the juice is, and they're telling right where to get it. And that's what the Bhakti Center is. It's a big juice box. And inside, everyone's learning how to get the real juice. And that comes. When that comes, even in a small, you get a little even drop of that, then you have enough to inundate the whole city. Because it's so rare that someone who has a little bit of juice, you could see it in their eyes. You could see it the way they choose their activities during the day. They make different choices than people who aren't getting juice. So today's the appearance day of Advaita Acharya. And when we talked about the other day, Ryan, the Panchatattva, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Radha, Sri Advaita. Sri Advaita Acharya is an anga, a part of Mahavishnu, who creates this world. Yakara Narana Vajale Vajati Smayoga Nidramananta Jagarandas Kupi. Adhara Shaktim Avalambya Param Samurtim Govindamari Purushanta Mahamajami. This great Mahavishnu is creating this world. Yasaika Nishvasitikala Matavalamya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagananatha Vishnur Mahansa Iha Yasakala Visheshu Govindamari Purushanta Mahamajami. And Mahavishnu breathes out. See, this is the amazing thing. From Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna expands himself. He's the Adi Purusha. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Everything comes from a person, from the perfect, complete person. And Goloka, in Gokula especially, he looks like an ordinary person. He's performing his lila there, and he's the most beautiful person, but he has two hands, two beautiful eyes, and lotus feet. But from him, everything emanates. Aham sarvasya prabhu matak sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddhabhava samambita. One who knows this and understands that everything's coming from Krishna, the original person, they give all their attention. That becomes their preoccupation, worshiping Krishna. Why would you go anywhere else? Why would you do anything else when you understand where everything's coming from? And Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita how he's Suridam Sarvabhutanam. He's the best friend of everyone, best friend of every living entity. And he's there also within the heart. He follows living entity and wherever he goes, because he's such a good friend. So everything comes from Krishna, the Adi Purusha, and he expands himself into Balaram. And Balaram into Sankarshan, into the Chaturvyuha, and then there's a Mahasankarshan, and then there's another second Chaturvyuha, and then there are the great Purushas, the Mahavishnu, then the Garbhadakshay Vishnu, then the Kirdakshay Vishnu. These are different expansions of the Lord. He expands himself. We say expands. Sometimes people think that means that he gets bigger. But duplicates himself. Because as described in the Brahma Samhita, like a candle, Departure behida shantanam abhipeta dipayate vrvite hetu samanadharma is tadrik eva icha vishnu chaya vibhati govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. There's an original candle, that's Krishna. Then that candle can light many other candles. And those candles, the fire is the same potency. Fire is fire. So similarly, these expansions or duplications of Krishna, they have these powers just like Krishna has. But there's still one original candle from which all the other candles came. And that's Krishna, the Adi Purusha, Govinda. And in the course of expanding himself, I'm just going to use that phrase, and in the course of expanding himself into different incarnations, the Mahavishnu, and then the Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu glances over the material energy, and by his glance, the living entities are impregnated into matter, and the whole show begins to come together in the material world. Garbhadakshay Vishnu enters within each individual universe, and there are described how many universes? That if you take a bucket and you fill it up with mustard seeds, you know how big a mustard seed is? Tiny, tiny, and if you fill it up, you couldn't count them all. each one of those is a universe. In each one of those universes, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lies down, he fills up the universe with his own perspiration, and then lies on the ocean there in that universe. Then from him comes Kshirdakshaya Vishnu. Kshirdakshaya Vishnu enters within the heart of every living entity. He also maintains his own island called Shvetadvip, just like a very wealthy person, multi-billionaire. He doesn't live in the suburbs, he gets his own island. So Krishna has his own island too. It's a Vaikuntha planet, actually. Within the material universe, he has his own planet, which is transcendental. So Advaita Acharya is an Anga. Anga means, just like my arm is an Anga of my body, like a limb, means limb. And so it indicates intimacy. I'm very intimate with my arm. I like it very much. And it does what I say, usually. And Mridanga mostly does what I say. And I'm connected, we're connected. So similarly, Advaita Acharya is an Anga of Vishnu who appears in this world. And one great lesson to take that we take from the teachings of Kaviraj Goswami and the Chaitanya Charitamrita describing about Advaita Acharya is his propensity for servitude. That he's a servant, he considers himself a servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu, but he comes to this world to play this role to invite the Supreme Personality of Godhead to personally come into the world to save everyone. How does Advaita Acharya save everyone? First he comes and he begins speaking about Bhakti. He speaks the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, but all in terms of Bhakti. Because you can interpret it many, many ways, the Bhagavad Gita, and many people do. They say, well, Krishna says that he's the Supreme Personality of God, but he doesn't really mean it, he meant something else. And say, Kurukshetra battlefield, that doesn't really mean Kurukshetra. Prabhupada came to Kurukshetra means Kurukshetra. Krishna means Krishna. And the Advaita Acharya does the same thing. He comes and teaches the Bhagavad Gita as it is, about the bhakti, the purpose of life, to develop servitude toward Krishna, not to become Krishna, or not to think that we're going to merge into Krishna and become one with Krishna, and all types of other interpretations. When Krishna says surrender unto me, he means surrender unto me, not to somebody else, or not to be unborn within Krishna. There's so many other kinds of indirect, nonsensical interpretations. So in this way, he sits in his courtyard, as Acharya does, and preaches the Bhagavad Gita according to Bhakti. What is the power of that? One person speaking something which is in accordance with the Shastra. The power is inestimable. You look at the results of such a thing, you may think, oh, it's an insignificant thing, what can I do? What can you do? If you actually represent Krishna by speaking what he speaks, by finding out what he said, and then just representing it, you become a messenger. The messenger is very powerful. First of all, you have to get the message. And actually, the message that comes from Krishna is the eternal, internal energy. There's no difference between Krishna and his message. And when Krishna gives you a message and says, this is what I want you to do, if you follow, all you have to do is just follow that message, and then you are connected to the spiritual world by the message itself. So Advaita Acharya was teaching the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, in his courtyard, where people would come, and then he saw the degraded condition of the world, that people were concocting many kinds of worship and were absorbed in all types of materialism, and he thought, I can't do this alone. Therefore, he started praying that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, please come down and help me. If you come, then everybody can be saved. So he was reading in the Shastra one day, and he found a verse that said that if you offer Krishna tulsi leaves and Ganges water, then he'll do anything for you. If you just offer him tulsi leaves and Ganga water, And he becomes so pleased with you that he'll do whatever you want. So he said, I'm taking this verse. And he worshipped Shalagram Shila. Yesterday we had Shalagram Maharaj came with us over to the opening in Fremont Dam. We greeted him and offered him some refreshments, and, place to sit and everything. He sat there, Shalagram Maharaj. And so Advaita Acharya, he also worshipped Shalagram. Interesting point. You'll see a picture of that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, of Advaita Acharya worshipping Shalagram. And where did that picture of Shalagram come from? Well, that picture was made before any devotee in ISKCON knew what a Shalagram Shila looked like. They didn't even know what it was. Shalagram worship didn't come in to ISKCON till sometime after Prabhupada left. There wasn't much Shalagram. Nobody knew much about Shalagram Shila. Although Prabhupada says in his books that we should introduce it in all our temples. So one of the devotees, artists named Parikshit, was painting a picture of Advaita Acharya calling out to Shalagram, and he had no idea what he took his picture of Prabhupada and Prabhupada said, no, not like that. And Prabhupada personally drew the picture of Shalagram. So that picture you see in the painting, that was drawn by Shalagram. He did the sketch. Parikshit took it from there. Prabhupada gave him the idea. But Advaita Acharya would sit, do his puja, and he would cry out loud cries that were so loud they pierced through the universe. And later on, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came, he said, Nara, he used to call Advaita Acharya Nara. He said, Nara, you woke me up. It was your loud cries that brought me here. You were calling out for me to come. So he would offer Ganges water and Tulsi to Shalagram Shila. He would call out in loud cries, asking the Lord to please appear in this world to save the people, because they've become so degraded in Kali Yuga. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came based on the desire of Advaita Acharya. So Advaita Acharya ki jai! So Advaita Acharya also was a great servitor of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although in age apparently he was his senior. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would constantly render service to Advaita Acharya and treat him as a superior. And partly that was because Advaita Acharya was initiated by Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. Therefore, he, in etiquette and in mood, when there's a devotee who's initiated by your spiritual master, or grand spiritual master, by your grand spiritual master, then you offer all respects. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did this, but Advaita Acharya didn't want it. He didn't want to be respected by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to worship Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One day, he had an idea how to show everyone in the world that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was his superior. So he sat in his courtyard where daily he would speak the Bhagavad Gita. And uncharacteristically, he began to espouse the Yoga Vasishta, Advaita Vasishta philosophy, saying that actually we're not serving for Krishna, Bhakti is not the goal, but we should become one with Krishna. Openly he was saying this in the courtyard. People came in and listened. They said, what is the Acharya saying? And very seriously he was pontificating and saying all these things. So some people ran to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they said, Advaita Acharya is preaching Yoga Vasishta right in the courtyard, openly. And Mahaprabhu became furious. He said, what is he doing? What does he think he's doing? And immediately he came charging to the house of Advaita Acharya and saw him sitting on his asana, preaching to the crowd that Yoga Vasishta is the highest. Merging into the impersonal existence of the Lord is the highest goal of life. And he was saying, you can only get to the highest position through Gyan, not through Bhakti, Gyan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became even more enraged when he saw it for himself. So he went up to the seat of Advaita Acharya and he said, what are you saying? He said, It isn't say what's true. Is it bhakti or gyan? And wait to try to say gyan. And Mahaprabhu grabbed him and he pulled him off his seat and he said, gyan or bhakti? He said, gyan, gyan. And then Mahaprabhu began to beat him. This is all Leela, of course. It's all play. Krishna's pastimes, although they appear to be human-like, as mentioned in the outset of the Srimad Bhagavatam by Sutta Goswami, they're not ordinary pastimes. Janma karma chame divyam evam yogiti tattva. His pastimes are divine. But he enjoys himself. It's a Leela, it's like a play. Maya javani kakshanam ajnat hoksha chamabhyayam nalakshashe mudadvisha nato natya daroyata. Kunti says, just like when the curtain opens and the dancers come out and they have different costumes, you can't tell who is who, and they're playing in different ways. In the same way, she said, my Lord, there's a curtain of diluting energy, and when you appear in this world, no one can tell exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it, but it's for your own play. Because Krishna is the enjoyer. He has nothing else to do but enjoy, so he enjoys these pastimes. And in them there are many lessons as well. And as Mahaprabhu was beating what was apparently an old man, Advaita Acharya, his wife, that is Advaita Acharya's wife, Sita Thakurani, came running out and said, please spare him, he's an old man. And then suddenly Mahaprabhu saw that Advaita Acharya was smiling as he was being beaten. And he realized what was going on and everyone was watching. And then Advaita Acharya said, just see, now I have shown who is the real Lord and Master. I am your servant. And he declares, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya, the servant of Lord Chaitanya, and the servant of Lord Chaitanya, and the servant of his servants. And this is where the juice is. This is the real mood. Even the great incarnations of the Lord, like Advaita Acharya, who come to this world, come to show that the real happiness in life is to become a servant. Everyone's got it reversed in the material world. Bhayam dvitiya abhinibeshitasya isha apetasya. Apetasya means you got your head screwed on wrong. You got it all wrong. You think that by becoming the master, by getting more skills and becoming the top dog, that I'll become happy. But actually it's not true. By becoming a servant of the Lord, then you actually become happy and developing the sentiment of servitude. Everyone is mad after it. In fact, Balaram, it comes from Balaram, it's the first expansion of Krishna. He's mad after serving Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Balaram comes in Ram Leela as Lakshman. And Lakshman is a fervent servant of Lord Ramachandra, constantly looking for ways that he can serve him more and more. And all the incarnations of the Lord who expand from the original Purusha, they all find their greatest happiness, ecstatic, unlimited happiness in this mood of servitude, to serve the Lord. And so Advaita Acharya comes to teach. He's non-different, that's why his name is Advaita. There's no difference between him and the Lord. But he comes in a particular mood. This is the great science of Krishna consciousness, that God is one. Of course he's one. There can be nothing in existence but God, but he has his own individual existence at the same time. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadabhyattamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshravastitaha. Krishna, although he manifests himself in all his different energies in this world, still he has his own individual existence as the supreme enjoyer and supreme Purusha. And he enjoys many pastimes. And without variety, there's no question of enjoyment. Variety is the mother of enjoyment. So Krishna, in order to enjoy himself, Eko Bahu Shyam, means the Vedas say that God is one, but he expands himself into many for his own enjoyment. So there are many different energies of the Lord. And the living entities, the jivas, who are the individual souls, as we say, it's not that we have a soul, we are the soul, as Bertrand Russell once said, that we are servants of the Lord. And when we act in that capacity, then we become happy. Ishad apetasya viparyo smriti tanmaya tat buddha avajetat bhaktyayka yesham guru deva tatma. Therefore, Kavi Yogendra said, the the cure to all our misery in life and to the fear that arises from trying to be the servant and to try to be the master and the top dog in this world is just change your direction of thinking and turn towards Krishna. Bhakti yesham, with one pointed attention. Turn towards Krishna and become his servant. And that means Bhakti yesham Guru Devatatma. Through the Guru, one can worship Krishna properly. And if you do this, then everything becomes rectified. So Krishna comes in different ways, comes as Advaita Acharya to rectify the misguided ways of those in the material world and give them the path for perfection in this life. And so we're following the footsteps of Advaita Acharya, who is a great preacher of the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam, and who is a servitor of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this Bhakti Center is meant for training Hare Krishna, many devotees to know the Shastra and to have firm faith. This is the definition of the most advanced devotee. Shastra Yukte. Shastra Yukte means that a person who's advanced is connected to the Shastra, lives in the Shastra, knows the Shastra. Shastra means scripture. And it's the guiding principle for everyone in this world. Shastra Yukte. He's firmly fixed also, and that means Dridha Shraddhavan. Dridha means determinedly. And Shraddhavan means somebody who has Shraddha, somebody who has faith. So somebody who's firmly fixed in faith and knows the Shastra. Uttama Adhikari. Tare Sangsar means that such a person who knows Shastra and can quote Shastra and knows the logic behind presenting the science of God consciousness and has firm faith, such a person, Tare Sangsar, can deliver the world from birth and death, the whole world. Such a person was Advaita Acharya, Uttama Adhikari. So we follow in his footsteps by learning all the things that are provided to us through this succession. The Bhagavad Gita. Who doesn't want to know Bhagavad Gita? Only a fool doesn't want to know Bhagavad Gita. And only a fool doesn't know Bhagavad Gita. And anyone who knows Bhagavad Gita and understands Bhagavad Gita knows everything. Yomam eva masamudo janati purushottamam susarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhajina bharata. That a person who knows Krishna, and how do you know Krishna? By just listening to him. Just listen to what he says. He tells who he is and what he does and what he thinks and what he wants. That's the simple way to find out. And it's all in the